I'm not an interesting person. Nobody watches my videos. YouTube has forgotten me at all, even though I try like crazy. Does it sound familiar to you? Does it resonate you, right? Of course, especially if you're just starting out with your channel, or if you started it some time ago. And if you try to search YouTube or Google for tips on how to finally get videos at this point, you can quickly become overwhelmed by sheer volume of technical advice. For example, okay, what kind of advices usually experienced YouTubers can give us? For example, write your title correctly, or be sure to fill out the description, use the relevant hashtags, or for instance, importantly, turn this feature or on and don't touch the other under any circumstances. Publish strictly at the specific time. By the way, this is my favorite, but I still have no clue how it works potentially. And sometimes the advice even reaches the point of voodoo. Like, I also heard this a bit ridiculous thing, but after uploading your video, don't close YouTube immediately. Stay on the platform for a while, a little longer, watch other people's videos, give them a few likes, write comments, show the algorithm that you're an active and dedicated user. And then maybe the great YouTube will surely notice your efforts and one day reward you with views. But okay, guys, let us be honest. Some technical details, of course, does matter. For example, you definitely need a good title for your video. Of course, you need a beautiful thumbnail just to attract attention of potential clickers. And yeah, the description definitely helps you out to give a context of your video. And some settings, of course, does matter. I surely not suggesting you to ignore such tips. However, a problem usually begins when we consider such an actions as a success mechanism. Like, we just make a defined set of different rituals only because we saw how some successful orders follow them. And of course, after making such an actions, we start awaiting the same result. And here, it easily turns just to a cargo cult. To put it simply, a cargo cult occurs when a person sees an external result and tries to replicate the external actions associated with its appearance, but doesn't understand entirely the underlying cause and effect mechanism. And this is exactly what happened to me, as I now understand during my previous attempt at YouTube. As far as you know, I tried to create different channels. I bought specific expensive equipment, wrote scripts, shot my videos, and of course edited them. I made complicated intros, I came up with titles, and then, of course, I uploaded my video and waited. So I thought that these actions are actions what exactly a typical YouTube blogger does. After all, successful bloggers shoot videos. I shoot them too. They edit their videos. I also edit my videos. They publish them, and I publish them too. And etc. etc. So, if you repeat these steps long enough, views and subscribers somehow should appear somewhere down the line, right? However, practically, I was never questioning myself the most crucial question, like why a totally unknown person should follow me and watch my video, and why a known person should continue watching it. This is quite another problem. Of course, you can endlessly blame the YouTube algorithm that it doesn't give you any views. I brightly know that sense. However, as far as you know, algorithm cannot make any person to be interested in totally boring channel. Algorithm cannot make your story interesting and thrilling, and of course it cannot explain to a viewer why he should watch another 10 minutes, why he need to stay on your video and continue watching. In the best case, YouTube, I don't know, for example, can place your video in the front of some amount of people, like for example, test it out on the small audience, I don't know, 50-100 persons, and then see how to spread it out further, or maybe not. And the more I study how to create different content, the more I understand how I was wrong about operating with a YouTube in my past. Because I concentrated only on the video production, but I never had a clue about to be thrilling or interesting. So I never thought how to create something interesting to a potential audience. And these things are totally different, because you can spend, I don't know, maybe more 10 hours on the montage and editing your another video which no one wants to watch, and show it to the random person, of course, who just placed his smartphone on the table, hit the record button, and told his interesting story for 15 seconds, right? That's why nowadays I stopped to search for magical settings, and instead of question how make YouTube spread my content across the audience, I started questioning myself, what could I do to show myself to a random person and glue his or her attention to another my video, right? And to be honest, I have no clear answer nowadays. Furthermore, as far as you can see, my results a bit humble. However, I keep learning. I keep experimenting. I watch my statistics, and sometimes, yes, I derive the results that might disappoint me a little bit. Yeah, they can make me a bit upset, but it makes a kind of interest that I broadcasting it to you because I'm not telling you the story from the position of a YouTuber with a 10 million subscribers, which explains you a story how everything was so obvious. Now I'm inside of my own experiment. For example, look at my channel. Um, I was recording my videos, I uploaded them, and then the first week, then the second one, then the third one, and you know what was my result? Zero, zero showings, not even views. Just imagine showings, total zero, nothing at all. And that means that YouTube and its algorithms just ignored me at all. So that was, of course, the most unpleasant sense that I experienced, especially as a beginner on the YouTube, because I totally couldn't understand what was wrong with my content. Was it bad enough or good? Because nobody just watches. However, on the fifth week, something started changing. At first, I gained only one view. Then, approximately, I got 3 views on another video, and suddenly one of my video popped up with 10 views. Of course, these numbers are still hilarious, and I totally understand that, 10 or even 15 views is not a success at all on the YouTube, but that was a quite a thrilling sense that something started to change. Instead of total zero, instead of nothing, YouTube started to show my videos to random audiences, I don't know, decades, right? And some of showings start closely reach hundreds. Yes, hundreds. Of course, for me, for now, it's not so important to view I don't know, tens or hundreds views, but for me it's very important is dynamics, because between the 0 and 100 showings there is a big difference. In the first case, YouTube doesn't test you out at all. However, in the second case, YouTube started place my content for some potential viewers and started to gather statistics and their reactions, right? What I can say more? All this time, I was not loading the same video in the different variations just to, I don't know, catch any hope to be useful for YouTube algorithms, but I started to treat my channel as a little experiment. For example, if during any day I got an interesting mind in my head, I immediately take it down to my notepad, and then I usually try different types of pitch. For example, I don't know, I could tell you a story from my past, or I mind about my mistakes, or I just broadcast about interesting things that I recently knew from, I don't know, internet or any other sources, for example, books or videos. In the same time, I try not to spread my minds in the different direction, and by doing this I slowly form the clear niche of my channel. And the most essential things, I made the very important decision. I put a goal for myself: 100 videos. just 100, not 1,000 subscribers, not million views, not a monetization within 3 months, just 100 published videos. Why? Well, because I cannot control my views. I cannot order YouTube to show my video to the thousands of potential subscribers. I cannot make you just to click on my thumbnail. However, what I can do, just to record and publish my next video and then another one. Yeah, and during this process, of course, I'm able to view my statistics, maybe to clean some mistakes, or change a beginning of my next video, or just to try out another topic to discuss, right? After that, of course, I do and see some outcomes and just continue. So, as I follow my experience only after 100 videos, I want to take a look back and ask myself what exactly has changed. If I started speaking more clearly in sitting in the front of my camera, or I started thinking out more interesting topics, is my retention changed? If audience started to click on my thumbnails more frequently, that forms positive dynamics, right? So you cannot do any global outcomes after 10 videos because practically nobody seen them. Yeah, I suppose if you try to do any outcomes after your 10 videos, like, oh, unfortunately nobody watches me, it's the same cargo cult, because you just try to predict another step of YouTube algorithms about your hashtags, or time of your publishing, or how much time you spent on YouTube in general after you upload your another video. At first, I need to learn how to make a content. Not good or bad, just a content. Then, just to supply the system, YouTube, with enough material, and only then to decide whether it works or not. So yes, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want, I kindly ask you to follow my channel. Let's stay connected and see you in my next video. Have a good day. Bye bye.